Hey everyone, I'm Kim. I'm 4 months into my Zepbound journey, currently on 2.5 milligrams of Tirzepatide, and I've been learning so much along the way, and I'm trying to share it with you guys too. And today's update is a little different because let me tell you, it's been a rough few weeks for me. So here's what I'm covering today: the unexpected reaction I had a few weeks ago, and how it led to deeper issues with dehydration. And I'm also going to share with you some of the tools I originally created to help me track and support my own GLP-1 journey. I'm now sharing them with you for you to use as well, totally free, over on my website, glpwonderful.com. So let's talk it through. So I was hanging out in the backyard with my chickens, and I accidentally disturbed a nest of ground bees. I got bit not once, not twice. We're talking full on blown ambush. I had a mild reaction though to the ground bee stings, but because I was having an inflammatory response, I was hesitant to take my shot the next day. I did ask my doctor the next day because I had an appointment, and she said she thought it would be fine. But to be honest, it wasn't. Now, because I was already having an inflammatory response from the bees, taking the shot caused an even worse reaction. And within an hour of taking my injection, I had a full reaction: shaky, nauseous, dizzy, crazy joint pain. So that threw everything off. So while I've never had a reaction to bee stings before, and I went off the advice of my doctor, but personally, I really should have listened to my gut instinct in this case. Now, this most certainly is not medical advice because I am no doctor, but that reaction kicked off a domino effect. And the next thing that happened: dehydration. Now, the appetite suppression from Zepbound already makes it easy to forget to eat and drink. And dehydration has been a constant specter over me for this whole journey. And I never figure it out until I'm in a bad way. So granted, I was probably already in a downward spiral of dehydration before I was even stung. But now throw in being sick and dealing with the inflammation from the bees, I just couldn't catch up, and I was down for the count for several days. But as I started feeling better, I figured I really needed to find a way to stay ahead of this dehydration situation that I constantly find myself in. So I started using Urinify Essentials. This helps me to track my hydration levels, and let me tell you, it has opened my eyes to how often I have been skating the line on hydration. The day before my injection, I take this at-home test. I take a picture of the results with the Urinify app, and it measures my hydration levels instantly, so I can adjust as needed before I have any issues. Let me tell you, if you're on a GLP-1, hydration is not optional. It is foundational and critical. And if you're like me and struggling with dehydration, I'll include a link to this amazing home testing kit below. Now, when my hydration levels are iffy, I will typically double up on my Relight hydration mix. This is a sugar-free blend of the Redmond Real Salt and Essential Electrolytes. And let me tell you, after I drink it, I always feel so much better. My favorite here is the pina colada flavor. And I know some of you have reached out to me about the Relight, and I'm curious if any of you have tried any of the different flavors. I think they have watermelon. That one's pretty popular. But if you tried any, let me know in the comments below what your favorite has been. Now that brings me to something I'm really excited to share with you, and that is my GLP-1 Progress Tracker. Let's take a look. This is where I track my data, my weight loss, BMI, glucose, my goal weight, and more. This is not about tracking numbers necessarily, but it's about seeing the entire story. So let's take a quick walkthrough of this tracker. When you open it right away, you can see everything that you need is really right there in front of you. To get started, you'll need to populate a few things, and then the calculations will do all the heavy lifting. Over here on the left, you will need to input the date of your first injection as well as your starting weight. Then you are going to add what your target goal weight is, and the formulas will automatically calculate that total here. Finally, here you are going to input your height in inches. This information is needed to calculate your current BMI. Now over here in the middle, you will see what I call the dashboard. It's an overview of all your current data, your goal and current weight, your glucose average, current BMI, as well as the total amount you've lost so far, as well as how much you still have to go. And under that, we have this progress bar, which I absolutely love. I made a little surprise in it so that once you hit certain target percentages, a celebratory emoji will pop up in the tracker. And I just think that's a fun thing. Here in the middle, we see all the cool, nerdy data graphs. What this does is show your progress over time for weight, glucose, and BMI. This information is aggregated automatically from the tracking data, which you will input in this tracking section here. In the first row, you will need to start populating information. The initial line should be your first injection. That includes the date, the dose, if you want to include that, the injection site, your starting weight in pounds or kilograms. The calculations will automatically populate loss and gain as you move through the weeks. And you can also add your glucose levels here. The BMI column will also calculate automatically, so you don't need to do anything there. There is also a section for notes. And if you see here, around the 8th was when I had my encounter with the ground bees and the injection that didn't go so well. I made a note how I was feeling, and I made the decision then to forego the next week's injection because of how I was feeling. And if I'm honest, I was a bit scared. But I think it's interesting to see how that decision is reflected in my numbers. I did manage to take my injection a few days later, and now things seem to be trending back in the right direction. I'm also thinking I might want to talk to my doctor about titrating up to the next higher dose if I continue to plateau here for much longer. And if you want to use the same tool, it's available for free over on my website, along with other resources that I've created specifically for this journey. From mindset tools to meal planners, it's all there to help you feel supported and not overwhelmed. Let me show you where you can find this tracker. If you go over to my website, glpwonderfullife.com, you can click on the tools and trackers. And that will take you to the tools and tracker page, and the tracker itself is the very first one there. And what you'll do is you'll click on learn more, and you'll be provided with instructions on how to download and get your free copy of this tracker. Now, as you've seen, this journey isn't always smooth. Sometimes it includes some bee stings and body freakouts, but every bump is a chance to learn, to adjust, and to move forward with more wisdom and grace. So if you've been through something similar, why don't you drop them in the comments below? I love hearing from you. I love hearing all the different stories that we are all gathering together. And if you want to grab your tracker and explore more tools, you can just head on over to glpwonderful.com. I'll also link it below. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for walking through this with me. I will see you on the next one. Bye now.